One story I always like to share is that whenever I'm around immigrant communities, they'll say, "Oh, brother, where are you from?" I'm like, "Chicago." They're like, "No, I mean, where's your family from?" Like, "Chicago." No, I mean, like, where are your grandparents from? Like, Chicago, by way of Alabama. So my family has definitely had like the African American experience with roots in the South and the migration north to Chicago, where most of us are now. I went to an incident conference in Chicago a couple of years ago. And like I said, the same thing happened. A brother asked me, "Salam alaikum, where are you from?" And I said, "Chicago." And he was like, "No, you can't be." And he thought for sure that I was from Guinea Conakry, right there on West Africa, right on the coast. So he's like, "You don't need to do any more DNA tests. Like, I can tell you're 1,000% Fulani tribe." So what I did was I went back and did my own research about where the Fulani tribe is, and it was almost like an exact overlay of my ancestral DNA results. There was a time where I didn't identify as African American because I didn't know my African roots. So I was just a black kid from Chicago. But now that I have done this research and have kind of anecdotal experience to back it up, like that African part of me is definitely like not only resurfaced, but it's taken stronger root. I think it's important for any people to know where they're from, but especially black people because of our history. We were uprooted. And I also hate to say this because like not all blacks are descended from slavery. So I know there's like some technicality there where it's like you can't just go to a darker skinned person and say, "Oh, your ancestors were slaves," because that might not be the case. But from my experience, just generally speaking, knowing that my family does have Southern roots, there's Southern American roots, like slavery probably was part of our family. Actually, in fact, I think my great-great-grandmother either was a slave or just on the cusp where her parents were slaves. So I think it's important to understand that history and have that background so we know where we're going in the future.